Hello everyone. Gotta be honest, I don't know if this game is fun to play or is it fun to watch. I played the demo and I was like, but then I couldn't stop thinking about the soundscape, about the music, about the artistic choices, artistic style, and I thought, let's give it a try. Like, if I don't like it, I don't like it. What's the worst that could happen, right? It's not expensive, it's quite affordable, but it just like it's so different. The whole game basically is hand drawn and scanned. It couldn't leave my brain. So I'm back to it. Episode 1 Waltz. Amadeus, a riddle for thee. Maybe we should start with the beginning. The soundscape, the music. The fact that the whole game doesn't fit in the regular screen, it's just so fun. And it is kind of bilingual. So I will try reading in French occasionally. I'm not very good at it. I've been learning French with Duolingo for more than 3 years. Anyway, my mother, she told me all manner of things. She told me that I was her daughter, that I was so unspeakably beautiful, a perfect lady, her beloved daughter. Before my mother found me, all I knew was darkness. But she found me and spoke to me. She spoke so kindly, so gently, so lovingly, and she told me everything. That someone had tried to kill me. That someone had tried to erase my very existence. But my mother, she resurrected me. And she told me all manner of things. Everything is because of her. I am indebted to her. Because of her, I understand who I am and what I must do. Yes, I know who I am. I am... A witch has been calling you back to Dartmoor. A witch's call. What a misleading term, call. A more apt description. Some redback with magic is manipulating your thoughts. What she's done is both insulting and unnerving, but at least I'm aware of it. I know the compulsion that brought me back here isn't entirely mine. I'd love to tell her as much, but doing so risks compromising my advantage. The arrogance to summon me here allow me to think it was my own idea and show off that she'd laid claim to my heritage. Yes, this is personal. She's calling me to the chateau. How dare she? She has no right to that place. But I can't let her know that I'm on to her. I will need to behave calmly and rationally. I might look around a bit before proceeding up the road. We don't need a tutorial. This is pretty straightforward. We can walk, we can look at things, we can interact with some of the things. The window is closed and the streets are empty. It's deathly quiet. The house is almost certainly vacant. It will likely remain so until spring, or perhaps its inhabitants moved away entirely, grew weary of following the flow of money from season to season, perhaps. Amadeus cannot so much as recall their trade. One of countless insignificant families, too poor to remain at Dartmoor in the winters. He'd never deigned to interact with them. You found a seed. I don't know what that seed situation is, but that is something that you need to find. There seems to be a lantern. Indeed, people selfishly prefer the ability to see after night falls, particularly when there are tales of werewolves in the hills. This path leads into downtown and beyond that to the old watchtower just outside of town. Not far down the path is a small plaza with one notably large house. Amadeus has not forgotten the parting words that house's master gave him 4 years ago. Going this way is not advisable. Dartmoor hasn't changed much in 4 years, has it? Desolate as ever this time of year, that's the mountain for you. I wonder if the chateau is also unchanged from my memory. Cross at which I desperately wish to see it. But I'll not succumb to this feeling. I will choose for myself when it is time to proceed. Path to manor open. Alright, the window. A chimney. I found a seed. There are more seeds here, I believe. Yes, another one. Lush foliage climbs the side of this building. The plants are green and in dire want of a trim. The servants of this house appear to be slacking in their duties. Is that all? Shall we proceed? The view from here is not so impressive as that from the chateau, which rests at the top of the mountain village. It is still somewhat impressive. Amadeus spends a moment considering the distant horizon. Fate can permit that much, surely. The moon Aska will rise from the horizon tonight. He looks away. Alright, I think we are done. Let's go to the manor. The path to Amadeus's old family manor. Proceed and face the witch who beckoned you here. Well, not you, him. I'm not sure, because in this game it seems that I'm both witch and Amadeus, and maybe somebody else, I don't know, let's go. That is quite enough put in itself. He is as prepared as he is likely to ever be. Welcome to Plant Witch Musings. The botanical witch will share her wisdom in this space. Message me if you love plants. I do love to make friends on here. Entry 1. Sansevieria. I've been focusing a lot on a particular snake plant, Sansevieria, if you prefer. I'd never raised one before. When I first got it, I still had a chance to ask my mom for advice. She said, "What do I always tell you to do?" I know very well that she always told me to do. Cut away the dead stuff, repot with fresh soil and put it outside with some nice sun. She was really good with plants. She knew what she was talking about, so I tried to follow her instructions. I potted it in a big pot full of nice rich soil and put it outside, but it rained a lot. Do you know what happens to Sansevieria when it gets too wet and the soil doesn't drain? Is that a real plant? Of course, I need to check that up. Oh, I know this plant. I didn't know it was a snake plant. Was it a snake plant? Interesting. That plant started rotting from its very roots. The thing's foundation turned slimy and diseased. It began to crumple under its own weight. My mom's advice that would have made any of her own plants healthy and happy as can be, was killing this snake plant. I was witness to its writhing, dying throes. I honestly thought it was dead for good. Usually if the roots are healthy, a plant can come back. But here the roots were what was dying. Can you save a plant if the roots are what is dead? But one of its leaves was still alive. The whole thing was rotting under the soil, but a small part of it, above ground, was just clinging to life. So I cut off the living part. It's the opposite of what my mom always told me to do: cut away the dead part and see what's left. Great advice to keep most plants alive. Nurture the healthy foundation, trim off some diseased extremities, and it can come back. But not in this case. In this case, I cut away the small alive part and threw away the rest. Roots and all. Foundation and all. I'm trying to grow a new plant with the new roots out of it. It's taken a very, very long time for it to start rooting. It's been a month, but it hasn't died yet, so I guess that's something. I don't know if it even counts as the same plant. If the scattering does root, I still believe that I killed a plant, but I also saved a part of it. I really feel that both of those interpretations are true. My mom knew everything there is to know about so many plants, rose especially. But it turns out she didn't know anything about Sansevieria. That scares me a little. How do you know when you are the one who doesn't know anything about Sansevieria? Is that like a botanical museum, or is it like actual philosophical museum, or is that both? So while I'm drinking some tea, enjoy the soundscape, the music. Love it so much. That is literally the main reason why I bought this game. I just couldn't leave it, you know? I hope it's not copyrighted. I don't believe it is. The sign hanging from this lamppost reads, "To call upon the witch, proceed to the manor entrance and knock upon the four-year door, and so she reveals herself." Amadeus had every intention to throw open the door, assert himself as returning heir of the noble family and demand the witch's services. On further reflection, with what Leia has advised him regarding witches, he feels that perhaps he ought to knock. This game is a linear progression, but there are some choices seem to be happening. I'm not sure. Like for example, if I come back to upper crossroads, oh okay, I cannot come back. And there was another way that wasn't advisable to go. If I were persistent, would I still go there, or would it be not possible? This lamppost is new. It must have been erected by the chateau's unauthorized covered inhabitant. The glass is cracked and shattered in places. The strong winds of Dartmoor would readily snuff out the candle within if the witch ever lights it. A seed? The roof is in a state of severe disrepair. Are the elements capable of so much damage in merely 4 years? Or does the presence of a witch enhance decay? It is as though the building has rotted in the noble family's absence. Another seed. It looks like most of the windows have been damaged. Many have broken panes, others splintered and rotten frames which leave the casement sagging. It's as though the building has rotted in the noble family's absence. Anything else? The sky. Amadeus gazes up the sky, framed by the manor's silhouette. The weather is fittingly bleak today. I guess we need to proceed. It is quite difficult to read, like with all the different fonts, but I love it so much also, you know? Righty, let's go. Rain-worn cobblestones lead past the fence to the grounds of Amadeus' childhood home. It has been so long since his boots clicked on the stones. Follow the path. A board has been mounted as a makeshift protection from the elements, as the window itself has been shattered open. It seems the witch minded the draft. That we can knock or we can open the door. Or try. This window isn't the first shape by far. The bottom pane has been dislodged, likely by a trespasser. Amadeus happens to be skilled at identifying signs of trespassing. One hopes that this occurred before the witch took up residence here. If not, well, it is unwise to offend a witch in such a manner. It suddenly occurs to Amadeus that every time he snuck out late at night, this lantern was lit when he returned to sneak back in. A bitter heaviness sinks into his heart at this realization. Alright, so shall we proceed then? In my demo exploration, I knocked. Let's try to open. Amadeus reaches for the doorknob, heart pounding. It's time to face the switch and demand. Yet, as much as he would very much like to thrust the door open, Amadeus knows very well that a witch will always have the upper hand in a negotiation. It may not be in his best interest to immediately annoy her. He should probably use the segment piece of a knocker she's installed to summon her. This witch seems to have mounted a new knocker in the old wood of the foyer door. There is no doubt it will summon her. Knock? And here is the witch. The witch appears before Amadeus, assuming an uncanny and inanimate form. Her appearance matters not. What does is her magic and her guile. Negotiate with her? Sure. Surly's advice wins through Amadeus's mind. Expect the unimaginable. Scrutinize every word. Ask yourself how you might weave any loopholes in her shoes. Seeing some gaudy mannequin emerge from an old home is unsettling. I've had a mind to brush past her and assess how much she ruined the inner decor. Greetings. Forgive the intrusion, but it has been quite some time since I was last in the area. The sign out front seems to imply that there is now a witch residing here. If that's true, I'd like to make a deal. For your context, I am seeking valuable information on a particular topic. Oh, and what might the topic be? Excuse me? Oh, the demo, that was French, I think, unless I remember wrongly. Anyway, excuse me, what was that? I can't understand you. I said, oh, and what might the topic be? Is that better? Marginally? This is it. The less she knows about how much I know, the better. Listen, I will be blunt. I have no idea what in heaven's name you are doing here. Yet this meeting may be beneficial. I have heard tales that some witches draw power from porn. I need to learn about werewolves. The werewolf transforms into Asuka's throw. I wonder what one devoted to porn instead might be able to reveal on the subject. I seek myth, facts, any knowledge at all. It's rather a pressing issue. I really could just bite the witch's head off. Mouth and all, it's obvious she's smirking at me. Well, my lycanthropic friend, best hem it up a bit and look taken aback here. I'm afraid that knowledge does not currently exist in a form I can readily give, so to speak. What a joke. I come all the way back to this miserable town, swallow my pride and grovel at some witch who now haunts my family's manor, and she can't even help me? Do not come to a witch and substitute her words with your own invention. I did not say that I cannot help you. I seem to have irritated her. Perhaps this will disadvantage her in our negotiation. She clearly wants to prove her ability. Very well, continue. If you can't give it to me, what can you offer me? A guarantee, quite a good one, if I may say so, and for such a relative pittance in terms of price. Don't goad me with that. I want more details on what exactly you can do for me. We may talk price after you've impressed me with any sort of tangible promise. Tangible, of course. I know a set of tomes that you may find useful. Tactile, touchable, tangible they are. A set of tomes? I am holding you to the fact that a tome must consist of prose. I find it difficult to imagine you might twist the term some other way, but I'd like to make that clear. If you prefer, I can state it as part of our agreement. A tome must feature words that directly pertain to the subject at hand. What's more of a guarantee, an absolute guarantee, that these tomes will contain the truth on the curse that afflicts you. One moment, if you please. I'd very much like you to elaborate on a few points before we proceed. Excuse me, will contain? Will contain? There is no certainty I'll live to reap the benefits of this agreement. Perhaps these tomes are unfinished manuscripts upon which authoritative texts will be penned decades after I've passed on. My apologies, I see you don't wish for there to be a true authority on the subject in this world. This agreement would manifest such a text with absolute certainty. It seems you can live without it. Enough. Why should I pay a price for something that may not help me here and how? Something that may be entirely useless to me. I am offering an incredibly potent promise. If you don't wish to take it, you are more than welcome to leave. I'll be sure to find an alternative solution by sunset. This witch is lucky I don't have clothes to mock her with right now. She really won't budge on this point. I'll just have to make a note of it and decide if it's worth her price. Define something for me. Define precisely what you mean by the truth. The truth is the truth. I promise you complete understanding of your condition. All there is to know about your cures will be communicated to you by means of the stones. And of course, this includes a little something I like to call how to find peace with it. Ah, I see. Allow me a moment to write it down. Yeah, we have a notebook here as well. Say werewolf? Don't be vague. I need information on werewolf specifically, not some other cures I may be unaware of yet afflicted by. Your curse has many names. I do promise, however, that the affliction to which I refer is the very same that you mean by the term werewolf. I'll make a note of that strange wording. I think I understand your offer. A series of books which I like not only stay to be help at the moment, but which will ultimately contain everything I need to know about my lycanthropy. What other tricks would you be playing with her wording? I wonder. Have a quote on to everything. I should check a few obvious pitfalls just in case. Might you assure me that you won't hide this tome somewhere out of reach to me, safely away on one of the moons perhaps? Additionally, do you confirm that I understand the language in which the texts are penned, if you don't mind? Yes, in order. I shall personally hand you each tome. Once given, it cannot again be separated from you except by your own will. In fact, should you accept my terms, a magical connection will immediately form between yourself and each of these tomes, a link which binds them to your very soul. Kind of sounds scary. Furthermore, whilst you comprehend a mere 2 of the myriad languages in this world, like you, it does so happen that these tomes will be authorized in tones that you are able to read. How convenient. I suspect I may well need to ink this truth upon their pages by my own hand. I believe I fully understand the terms of your proposal. There remains a rather essential question to consider. What is the price for these tomes and for the promise that comes with them? Oh, hardly anything really. Merely all of your memories from within this manor. What? Was it not clear? The memory of every moment you spent within your family's Dartmoor estate will be passed to me. That's quite... I need to be very careful here. I can't tell I'm not thinking clearly. This is precisely the circumstance where a witch might take advantage. Every moment of my entire childhood, but only within the estate. What possible motive? Does that include the grounds we stand on? Will I even remember this conversation? Well spotted. I'll amend my words. You will retain memories from outside, including this conversation, with perfect clarity. I ask only for the memories within the buildings themselves. Not that it makes any substantial difference, as you have been very carefully transcribing our exchange. You forgive me for taking certain precautions when dealing with a witch. Don't change the subject on me. Whatever, my memories, you say, 12 years of them? I need to consider what she might do with those memories. They are most certainly not good. Maybe she can just have them. I don't particularly want them. Moreover, I will need any leads I can get, any way I can get them. I'm desperate. She's offering something I need in exchange for something I don't. There is no reason to refuse. Very well, accept. Hand over the notebooks, if you please. With the moon pool as witness, your promise is made as hitherto discussed. I bestow the first tome to you. Follow its guidance, and when you have reached its truth, return to me for the next. What? You're not giving them all to me at once? You promised they were bound to me. I said that a magical link with all of them would form immediately. Only once each is given will it become physically bound to you. At this time, I give you only the first. I suggest to begin looking into this one presently, as you have limited time before Asuka's food rises. I look forward to seeing you after you have understood the truth within its pages. Until then, farewell. Wait! I am suddenly aware of a cool dampness seeping through the cape on my back into my shorts. I open my eyes to a bright yet bleak grey sky. Astounding. I have but an afternoon to solve the mystery within the witch's tomb, and I have already wasted a span of it by falling unconscious. I suppose that this may be an unexpected result of having 12 formative years of memories forcefully removed from my very being. I don't think I was out for that alone, but the porcelain embedded in my forearm still feels like ice against the flesh it's fused to. It's so cold that it stings. Curse the miserable weather on this miserable day. At least it's not raining. Surprisingly, physical aches from lying on the ground in such poor weather aside don't feel that bad. My head doesn't feel empty or like anything is missing. If I didn't remember the conversation just now, would I even be aware that anything had happened? Would I believe my own written record of the fact? I recall my thoughts during our conversation. I had felt that none of the memories I was losing were good ones. Maybe that's why I don't feel like I missed them. Evidently, nothing of great value was lost. A memory of my mother from after we moved immediately surfaces. I shake my head to clear it away. From what I do recall of myself and my family, I trust that I am no worse off having paid the witch's price. I've somewhat finished assessing my mental state. I seem to be sane. Probably it's done anyway, so I ought to stop lying on the floor moping and figure out what to do next. I sit up and reach for my notebook. A second notebook has been very carefully placed atop mine. This must be the first tome. It's small. Some of the pages look like they're falling out. What does it contain? What does not it contain? Now that the deal is complete, I find myself extremely hesitant to face exactly what it is I've paid for. Well, too bad, I don't have the luxury of time to indulge that childish avoidance. I still my nerves and open the notebook. It's almost certainly empty. What the hell is this witch playing at? I, at the worst, expected a blank book, one I'd have to author myself. The witch's offer all but advertised that I might be the one to write it. I was naive. No, I was foolish. I heard what I wanted to hear, not what she actually promised. I let myself believe that if I gave up so much, I would be granted the mercy of legacy. I let myself believe that my own hand might author a text revealing the truth, that I might survive to do so, and be remembered in the ages to come for shining light on this dark subject. Alas, it's not blank. It's far more patronizing than that. The tome is filled with a child's meaningless scribbles. I flick through it, drawings, whinings, drivel, nonsense, nothing with any meaning behind it. A desperate frustration and sadness begin to fester in my stomach. In an effort to quell these feelings, I select an entry at random and attempt to read it. Perhaps there is some hidden code, or my thoughts suddenly freeze as my eyes land on a name I recognize. My heart drops into the disgusting stew already swirling in my gut. I feel the urge to vomit. Don't remember what it is I've forgotten, but I do remember that name. Cain. The name of the horrible little monster who bit me. The name of the boy who sank his feral teeth into my shoulder on a night Oscar rose full 4 years ago and changed me irreparably. I do not care that it wasn't his fault. I will always resent him for doing this to me. We will never make amends. I cannot make amends with a corpse that was shot to death by his own father right there in front of me. I do not wish to acknowledge the obvious conclusion that name's presence in this pathetic little book is inevitably leading to me. Please, please let me be wrong. Please tell me I'm wrong. Please tell me that I didn't just sell my own memories for a stupid diary I wrote when I was a kid. I look at the inside cover praying for a miracle. The name has been erased. It's clear what it once read, however. Of course, it's that name. It couldn't be anything else. This is quite beyond doubt my own diary, from when I was a young and human child. Yes, back when I was myself, before I was twisted into this monster. My diary, mine. I may not be as sane as I'd hoped. That's fine, it matters not. Certain side effects are to be expected. I force myself to take a few deep, shuddering breaths. Putting aside my feelings, it is vital that I remain objective in the wake of a witch's deal. She may tweak, but a witch's promise is binding. This will become the guaranteed authority on my curse. It will. Perhaps it's for the best that I have no memory of writing this, because it may be that there is hidden truth here I didn't intend. Without biased memories to cloud my judgment, I am better positioned to discover the truth. Glancing at the dates, this diary looks to have been written sporadically between the ages of 6 and 10. Some entries occur on consecutive days, others feature gaps of many months between them. It's impossible to determine what, if anything, may be of value in here, but I need to start somewhere. Should I read an entry from age 6? I decide to look at one of the very first entries. The handwriting is huge and lopsided, and it seems the author had no respect for the conventions of letter capitalization. I suppose one could very generously call this entry a poem of sorts. Dog was happy, wolf was sad, dog was sad, wolf was happy. I love you, dog, I love you, wolf. Good night, good night, good night, good night. The poem is titled Dog and Wolf. Rather, it is titled as such. Spelling was not the author's fault either. It reads as follows. Well, I just read that, so I will not repeat. Some years later, I seem to have corrected my spelling of the word night, presumably because it was the most egregiously butchered. What a stupid poem. It caught my eye because of the term wolf, but I should have known it wouldn't mean anything. This entry is from long before I learned of the existence of werewolves. It's more than likely referring to our family hound from my childhood named Wolf. A dog named Wolf. Whose idea was that? I tried to recall and my mind supplies nothing. I simply know that his name was Wolf and that I often roamed about outside with him. This poem is almost certainly about that animal. I was 6 years of age. I did not have any complicated thoughts or insightful things to say. Why did I bother reading this? My young self was simply expressing that I liked the stupid dog. I decided to read another entry. Now let's go to age 8. I look at the entries from when I was around 8 years old and find some rather terrible works of art. I love rain! Dragon loves jewelry. That spelling makes much more sense, quite honestly. In the corner of the page, I have scribbled some form of misshapen beast. Apparently, it is meant to depict a dragon. Dragon loves jewelry. Our artist has annotated with great enthusiasm. Did I particularly like dragons? I can't identify having any strong feelings toward them, one way or the other. My remaining snapshots of youth do not include dragons. Perhaps I only thought of them when I was at home doodling pointless garbage. I do wonder why I chose to write the text itself in this tone. I'm certain it was not my preference at this age. Was it indeed my choice? Mother must have simply enforced it. The contents of this tome is so insulting, I find myself questioning even the most obvious of things. At any rate, the topic changes immediately. As far as I can glean, the weather I love rain is scrawled at the top. I am thankful for these labels, for without them, the misshapen blobs scribbled across the page would be difficult to interpret as raindrops. The me picture just shows a disembodied head with a long hair and floating umbrella adjacent to it. There are absolutely no identifying features. It is not a particularly flattering depiction, but looking at a dragon, I suppose it could be worse. This is utterly meaningless. I don't know what I hope to gain from this. What, am I meant to count the raindrops in search of some secret message, or interpret the misspelling of jewelry as a cipher? I would rather not waste my time, so I seek another entry, perhaps one with words and not scribbles will be more enlightening. I flipped to a page I wrote when I was 10 years old. This was the entry that first caught my attention, as it features Cain. I hadn't processed its actual contents due to my preoccupation with the name. It is a confession. I could almost laugh at the manner in which the event is described. It's listed so matter-of-factly, even though I'm sure that I felt incredibly guilty about what transpired that day. Even now, I remember that much. I recall the guilt, but not our actions. Isn't that funny? Oh well, hopefully this entry will enlighten me as to what we actually did that I still feel this lingering guilt over. That is actually very interesting. I do remember some of the feelings, emotions, some bad, some good, and that actually affects how I feel about certain people. But I don't remember exactly what they did to make me feel that way, so I relate. Today I will talk about the past. It begins as if its author had been alive long enough to say such a thing with any weight to it. A while ago, Cain and I did what I call the deed at the tower. The deed. Yes, I remember this as well. Cain and I spoke of our actions with this term, in harsh tones, avoiding eye contact. I think we wanted to acknowledge our shared guilt somehow, but refused to face what we had done. We snuck in through the window and tried to steal the silver plate. The plate broke when we knocked it down. Something not unlike dread begins to pull within me, but I will it into submission and focus on the words in front of me. I wish to read the remainder of this entry. But it makes me sad for now Cain only listens to Matthias. I'm gaining on Matthias, but he's still ahead of me on his friendship. Who is Matthias? Matthias... Neither Cain nor myself had a sibling. I would not have engaged with other families' children. Perhaps Cain did and I was jealous? This is incredibly frustrating. The remainder of the entry is nonsense. It utterly and completely changes the subject away from anything that might help me, back to childish babbling. I'm a fool. For a moment, I truly thought this entry might lead somewhere useful. Information about Cain could pertain to the curse he inflicted upon me, but there is no information here, only the meandering prose of an idiot. No, you know what? That's enough. I do not wish to read the disorganized whims of a child anymore. The depth with which they were written clearly does not merit serious analysis. I look away from the book, and as I do so, the feeling from when I was reading the entry about Cain begins to resurface. I don't care that I can't recall the specific events of the deed. It was just childish, petty vandalism, utterly inconsequential. It's not a valuable memory, but it is one that I still should have. It took place at the old watchtower in the hills above Dartmoor. I know this with utter certainty. I remember going there. I even think I remember him ordering me to climb the tower's rubble and sneak in. Yes, that arrogant little cretin. I'm sure I dirtied my own hands climbing the watchtower on his behalf. I was pathetic. I could have ruined his entire family had I simply revealed how he behaved toward me. Why did I put up with it? I want to scream. I try not to acknowledge it, but the truth has become unavoidable. I can draw a sharp line precisely where my memories of the day end. Damn it all. I can't remember what happened in that watchtower. Damn that witch. Damn her, damn her, damn her. She put thoughts in my head, took my tone, stole my memories, and now damn her. She's intrigued me. I was born into the only surviving noble family of Dartmoor. A centuries-old landmark could well be our legal property. Of course it could. I was remiss not to consider something like this. As such, that witch has claimed all recollection of events that transpired within the walls of that watchtower. I cannot so much as picture anything about its interior, and the worst part is that I want to know why. She's taken everything from me, and here I am acting impressed with her. Damn it all, I'm curious. How is she going to twist the stupid diary into an objective truth? Why did she rule the deal specifically to claim my memories from inside some dilapidated tower? I have no idea what to make of this. I despise feeling this way. I'm smarter than this. I can figure this out. I will cling to the knowledge that witch's promise is binding. There must be a way to transform this into a meaningful truth that addresses my curse. I need to breathe and think rationally. Rationally, I am a rational person. The witch told me to return to her once I reach the truth in this tome. If I'm to do that, I must first survive tonight. I refuse to fail. I will force the answers to reveal themselves. To begin, I'll mark the pages I looked at earlier. This notebook is not guaranteed to become an authoritative text on my curse. I will give these useless scrolls meaning. I won't allow their purpose to be rubbing my nose in the fact that the witch outsmarted me and stole more memories than I anticipated. Forget her. I need to visit the watchtower at Dartmoor. I must be certain that its interior is foreign to me. Perhaps there even remains some physical evidence of the deed in there. Furthermore, I am disgustingly aware of how thin the straw I'm grasping at is at the moment. But it's possible there is a deeper meaning behind something in that last entry. I could go see him. He did that because of me. Well, regardless, I shall go investigate the scene of our crime. If I happen to pass by the adjacent cemetery, that's a separate matter. And on the way there, I'm going to consider everything I've gleaned on that witch from our conversation. I took a risk and took a bait, knowing that I came here not on my own volition but hers. I've every intention to prove that I was right to do so. Now, the watchtower. How do we reach that place? Look at the fence, the boundary to the land of Amadeus' family manor, the boundary to his past as well. Do I need to come back to the manor or do I need to come back to Upper Crossroads? Armed with a book and more questions than answers, Amadeus must visit the watchtower. He won't have time to return here before the sun sets. Is he ready to leave this place behind? I'm not sure. Knowing that there is limited time before Asuka rises full, is Amadeus going to waste it reminiscing at the doorstep of a witch who has arguably... I don't know where the watchtower is, so I don't know where to go. Is there a map or something? I can walk around. I don't know what I need to do. Do I need to come back or do I need to... I will come back to the manor entrance. Okay, so there is nothing here. So I cannot knock, I cannot open the door. Alrighty, then I'm coming back. To the Upper Crossroads. Let's go. Amadeus sets his shoulders and leaves the past behind him. For now he will face the witch again after surviving this night. Alright, so that is the plaza. The portal. Where shall we go? This is the way. Oh yes! This is the way to the watchtower and the graveyard adjacent to it. It also passes Kane's family home. If Kane's father still lives there, Amadeus must not be seen by him. Proceed anyway, here. Kane's father may have the intention to follow through on his words from their last encounter, yet Amadeus will accomplish nothing if he does not take the risk and proceed. Downtown, leave town, watchtower? Where do you have the watchtower? Is this the watchtower? Well, I found the seed. A tourist? Who the hell is... Ah, what a quiet little town. The mountain air is so fresh. You don't get this in the city. Hail, you there! Can you help me? Great, a tourist. Should I just pretend I don't understand the language she speaks? Damn, I think I've given myself a well video with how I reacted. I can guess that you aren't from around here. You're lucky I speak your tone. Just like a tourist using my wood. I'm so glad you came by. I was starting to wonder where all the locals are. The innkeeper was incredibly wishy-washy when I asked her where everybody is. She completely ignored my words and just kept talking. Did nobody teach her manners? Of course it's quiet. This isn't exactly the nicest time of the year for sightseeing. You're about 3 Ascan fools late for that. People aren't around here in the off-season, I remember that, but why? Why aren't they here? Where do they go? Villagers come to the city for work in the off-season, no doubt. I may have passed them in my own travels and been none the wiser. Bless that innkeeper for staying around for folks like a little old me. I was under the impression that you need help. Did you have an actual question, or might I take my leave? Sorry. Yes, if you please, I'm looking for someone. Older gentleman, big of a grouch, widower. I think that I will have to end this part here because my voice just gone. He's got a rough look about him, but he's a real soft if you get to know him. You're asking the wrong person. I don't know anybody here. Ask the resident of that building behind you. Last I was here, the night patrol resided there. He should know. Night patrol? In such a distinguished house? How curious. I've never heard of a guardsman bearing a crest upon his home. These little mountain villages are so fascinating. Of course not, don't be ridiculous. The house and crest were a generous gift from the noble family. A noble family's crest? Here? Displayed so prominently? I blotted that out because she was grating on my nerves. It's fuzzy, I can't quite remember. A noble's crest indeed, and I suppose a princess was also locked up in that old tower outside town, and guarded by a dragon, no doubt. The symbols upon that crest, I'm certain they are a link between our families, or perhaps just between me and Cain? Well then, I can see when I'm not wanted. Go on, get to wherever you're headed, I won't bother you anymore. A symbol of friendship, no, a charm, a lucky charm? Leave it to a child to just make something up to get an adult to go away. I'm foreign, but I'm not ignorant, you know. Lucky charm, that's it. Wait, what did she... What the hell? How dare you speak to me like that? Fine, don't believe me. I can't remember enough details to back up my claim in any case. I hope your steed falls ill on your journey home. Now, if you'll excuse me. So I will have to end this part here. Like, this game could be very interesting, like I'm intrigued, but that is too much reading and my voice just... I cannot anymore, my throat hurts, my voice gone. See you next time, I suppose. Have a nice day, night, morning. Bye bye.